Alright, there we go.
Oh, that face is really big.
Your camera is very, I'm not sure if it's better today or it is always this good. Your camera looks
I
very
did
high
some
quality.
lighting stuff.
It's the
Today,
lighting.
so
It's the
maybe
lighting.
that's why.
It looks
It
very
looks
good.
better today.
How often do you use this camera except for this this audio only podcast?
This is the camera I use for work when I'm taking meetings at home. But because I've been very busy, like today was almost as busy as last Wednesday for me at work. So I don't have a specific topic planned, but I was going through our list, and there are some interesting things that I could pull from, unless either of you has something you'd like to talk about, or if either of you has a favorite meme that you've seen, like anything noteworthy, or
You're trying to keep
if
that
anyone-
alive.
Oh no, that it only happened once, and it's
still
never
do
gonna happen
not have a
again.
meme.
But so if no one has a meme of the week, does anyone have a hate of the week?
I forgot. I can't believe you kept this. It was a joke.
Actually, I don't fucking know. I like it.
I always have. I also always have hate in my heart when it comes to games in either their difficulty or playing against other human beings. But I've played. Have you all ever played the Rogue Legacy series?
I played the first one, not when it came out, but like within a year of it coming out, somewhere around that time.
Yeah, because it's been. When did it come out? Like 20.
Oh god, I came out
12?
forever ago. Like there's already a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. But it took forever because they were like one of the
Yeah,
I guess
it
not
did.
OG roguelikes, but definitely one of the ones that have stuck around.
2013 was the original.
Yeah. So
And
I knew it was pretty
2
old.
came out
Like last year.
2020 was the initial release date.
Of Rogue Legacy 2?
Yeah, it might have been like early access.
my
or something.
God.
I don't know if I'm just
COVID
speaking on my
brain.
ass. It might have been like early access or something. But yeah, 2020 is what Google says.
Yeah, I just
So, yeah,
played
7 years is a long time for a indie project.
it's definitely kind of had a renaissance. It's a very fun, very simple roguelike. But like all the fucking simple ones, it is ball bustingly hard.
Oh, I'm
It is the
sure.
first time in a minute I have nearly thrown a controller out of raging in a single player game.
So what you're saying is you regularly throw controllers raging at multiplayer games. That's what I gathered from that sentence.
The one that I always comes to mind is Smash. I don't throw them.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
rage.
I cannot
but
play Smash.
But I do the same motion. Maybe I'll turn on my camera just for this. I don't have lights on. Oh, the lighting's not bad. I always am holding it like this. And this is an audio only pod. It's a flick of the wrist, but for them, the two of them, like it's literally, it's always I'm just tired and I just flick it like that out of my hands, usually towards a couch or something. But I have
of course,
on several
gotta
occasions.
protect it.
And yeah, these are expensive GameCube controllers. They are hard to get. And yeah, I've definitely taken a brand new like $60 GameCube controller and flipped it like this onto hardwood because I just wasn't looking at it. I was so fucking annoyed. I had smashes.
So not a slamming it. It's more of a fuck this. I'm done with this. Like
yeah, it's a
toss
very
it.
just
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm clearly
Toss.
annoyed, but I'm not raging. It's not classic rage
Yeah,
where you're like shattering something.
I think it's I'm done with this shit because it's the toss and the get up and walk away, right? It's that
Exactly.
combination. It's just like I'm fucking done. I'm out. Like I've seen that many a times from
It's not
you.
violent rage. I guess that's the distinction. It is still rage. It is still like it is a childish thing that I should not do, but I can't help it.
I mean, when the tank is on the line and you get killed by something stupid, like it's the only
It's
appropriate
especially-
reaction.
It's always when I play bad. Like I'll just do something dumb and they just get like the freest hit on me, and then you lose and it's Smash, and it's like I just thinking about it. I've lost so many games just doing dumb shit, and I immediately know it's wrong as I'm doing it. I'm like, all right, yep, exactly what I thought would happen happened. Cool. Beautiful game though. Don't play it enough.
So Rogue Legacy, difficult.
Rogue
Is that your
Legacy
hate of the
incredibly
week?
difficult. I recommend people play it. Just play Rogue Legacy 2. It invalidates the first game, but
Heard it's pretty good.
very fun. It is very hard. It's probably the longest I've spent on a roguelike in a minute without fully beating it. So I probably played it I've had it for a while, but I like picked it up again recently, probably like 30 hours at this point or something crazy, and I have
Hmm.
not fully beaten the game, which usually roguelike, that's kind of the thing, right? Like roguelikes, you beat them, and then it's more the fun of repeating and like trying everything out as you repeatedly beat them.
Maybe you beat them. I can't remember the last roguelike that I beat. I've not beaten Hades.
You've beaten Hades?
Wait.
No.
How do you
That's such a fun
define
one to
beating
play.
Hades? How do you define beating Hades?
You get through Hades, right? You fight him.
Yeah, I assume you mean like kill Hades.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I haven't played
Yeah.
in a
Have
while.
I done that,
but
Paggy?
I've never
Did I
done
do
it.
that? I can't remember.
You did. It took.
I got to the overworld, right? So if you get to the overworld, like the Earth, then you're good.
Yeah,
You've beaten
yeah.
it. Okay,
Yeah, when you get to the end
cool,
cutscene. Yeah, you definitely beat it.
I don't know. I didn't know if there was like more or some shit. Like
There's definitely more. I've super beat that game. There's like all these modifiers you can stack against you to get these special cutscenes. It is a crazy hard game that you can make crazy harder. It's also so ADD. I think like
It's so good.
yeah, it's really fun. It's a really good story. I knew you. That is the roguelike for you because it's the one roguelike with a really compelling like deep story.
It's not just the story either. It's like I'm all about getting lost in the immersion of actually having relationships with characters where like the world changes based on your actions. Horizon Forbidden West does that pretty well, in my opinion, as far as like an open world game does, where like characters will remark on the side quests you do, which like you don't see a lot in games. Usually side quests are their own separate thing. And Hades, obviously, with its, dying mechanic, and you always coming back and the characters mentioning, oh, you got killed by this enemy, and like it's like, oh, that's cool. They knew what enemy killed me and stuff like that. Yeah, I really like Hades. I just am really bad at it. I think I can't remember how far I've gotten. I can't even remember, but I've gotten like pretty far, but not beaten it.
It's always the line I think roguelikes walk, keeping you back. Because there's at one point I've definitely reached. There are multitudes of roguelikes that I've not beaten because like I didn't get close, nor it was just so soul crushing to try again. Whereas Hades, I think, has a decent job with the story specifically to like keep you wanting to run again to like see what they'll say next.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
For sure.
It's a fun one. Can't recommend that one enough. Also recommend Rogue Legacy, though if you do struggle with Hades, Rogue Legacy is going to be a challenge.
Does not surprise me.
Fucking.
I've tried to play like Dead Cells, which like has really cool art and seems really like deep and really cool, but I'm really bad at it. Hades. I've played a lot of different roguelikes and I'm always like, this is really cool, but I'm really bad.
I think the one that I think another really fun one that I've never beaten, I will never get close to beating, is Enter the Gungeon. Cannot recommend that one enough.
I love Enter the Gungeon. I've gotten really far. I've never beaten it, but I've gotten really far and I love it.
I've never cleared more than 2 bosses.
Like, as we've said before, like world building is like my favorite thing, and that game's very simple, very on-theme world building is like my favorite thing. How everything is just gun related. It's so funny and so cool. It's so good.
The depth of their creativity is insane.
I don't.
It took gun as a concept
simple
so far.
And so good. Love Into the Gungeon.
I love roguelikes.
Of course. I mean, that's. I think anybody who's listened to like more than 5 episodes of this podcast could tell you that's your favorite genre, Pat.
I think it's the only one, because the only other game I've been playing for the past, like, I play roguelikes, and then I think we mentioned a couple management sims, and then everything else is WoW, which, like, and we've dedicated our time to WoW, and I don't want to hit on WoW otherwise too much, because it's such a, like, it's a hard game to access if you're not playing it, whereas roguelikes, I think you can very easily tell the story and, like, explain a roguelike, because they're, you can't sink years of your life into them.
My favorite genres are like strategy games, city builders, pretty much a little taste of everything except like sports games. Packy loves roguelikes and WoW, and Greg likes Game Pass. Those are our genres.
I do like free things, whether that be free with a sub, aka Game Pass, or just free.
Did you try Minecraft Legends yet? Came out yesterday.
I haven't tried it yet.
I tried and it would not launch. It would start and then say connecting to account. I don't know what account it was trying to connect to. I don't know if it was like the Mojang account or like the Microsoft one, and it would not launch. So it immediately got uninstalled. Which makes me sad because I wanted to
launch
try
day
it.
network struggles.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's on Game Pass. I'm sure a lot of people are trying to dig into it, but I was a little disappointed.
It's Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly.
I will. I mean, it's definitely been on my list, but
is it multiplayer?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Like,
I think
a big part of it.
Yeah, they pushed multiplayer more than anything in like the previous one I saw. Yeah.
I think it's going to get really boring really quickly when you play by yourself. Yeah,
that seems.
I will report back and let you know.
I'm definitely gonna try it for sure.
Yeah.
I will say Greg likes Looty Shooties. He's
Looty
found a new
Shooties.
one. I'm so fucking happy.
Dude, Borderlands 3 is so good.
Borderlands 3 is so good. The story's
I-
terrible, but everything else is great.
Honestly, like, the story is it's nothing to me. It means literally nothing to me. The humor means literally nothing to me. It's quite frankly kind of bad. Like, it's just like, I don't know. They're jokes that maybe I would have found funny when I was 16, but like,
Yeah.
I definitely don't find them funny now. And like, I think I've laughed a total of like once so far in that game.
Yeah, I think
like, I just feel bad. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, they wrote the jokes, they're like, we're so funny, and it's like, no.
I think Handsome Jack was really good for the series. Like, I obviously, like, pretty much any discourse on that franchise talks about how good Handsome Jack is, and I don't think he's like, top 50 like best video game villains or anything, but I think for that franchise he's really good. And then you go to the twins in the third game, and it's such a step down. Like, there's no personality. Even if it's not good, they just don't have any like real engaging personality. While everything else in the game is like way better, which is, I don't know, it's weird, to have that mix of a huge step down in story and a big step up in everything else.
But yeah, I bought it as part of the spring sale. I ended up getting just the base game, played it. I was like, I enjoy this. And then so I just this morning, before the spring sale ends, I purchased the season pass bundle, which is
nice.
Both 1 and 2, which apparently 2 just kind of is like meh in terms of value because it's just like some subclasses. I think each class gets a new subclass, and then
the classes are really good too.
And like a raid boss, and that was kind of it though. Whereas like this first season pass was like 30 hours of story content.
It also includes their attempt at, because they've been trying to get better, because what all Looty Shooties do better than Borderlands is replayability, because how you replay Borderlands is you just go through the story again repeatedly, or you farm the bosses.
Ooh,
that is the two ways.
Yeah.
You will not end up doing that. I loved the game enough to play it twice with like my mains, but never, usually just would like switch class.
Yeah. You need some dungos.
Like, they have in Tiny Tina's. They finally got around and created like truly procedurally generated areas that they'll get better. They were pretty basic this first time around, but
That's interesting that they're procedurally generated because Destiny and The Division are not at all, right? Like they just have strikes and dungeons that you rerun over and over again. But kind of a looty shooty. It is a looty shooty. It's one of my favorite games. James, you love it too. Looty shooty Souls-like, Remnant from the Ashes.
And it's great.
Is procedurally generated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But other than that, I can't really think of a looty shooty that's procedurally generated. And so that's kind of interesting that Tiny Tina's is trying to.
What does Outriders do? I've not played enough.
Oh, so the end game might be. I actually played this the other day. That game, I love that game actually. It's really pretty. Also, it's pretty close to what I was talking about too. Of like looty shooty, you got some magic powers, and like. It's falling short in some places, but it's a great game. Anyways, they have these things at the end called like drop pods, and you go out to do drop pods, and you get and you obviously replay that part.
Yeah.
I don't know if the individual missions are procedurally generated or not, or if it's just a pool of 50 and it just gives you one randomly. And so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I love that game. I would totally.
Did you play the expansion?
I was just about to say, if the DLC for that ever went on a reasonable sale, I would totally pick it up and play through it. Yeah, it goes on like a sale, but it's like 25% off, and it's still like $30 or something. And I'm like, that does not look like a $30 DLC. I don't know.
I think they just released new content for it because I actually tried it again very briefly, very recently. And I just do not like how the shooting in that game works.
I haven't played it since the expansion came out.
I'm horrible
before that.
I'm so bad at shooters. That's why I'm good at Borderlands. You don't have to be good at aiming in that game.
No, you don't.
You just know how to build. You just need to have the right guns and know how to build.
Yeah.
But at least like you can aim and shoot things in Borderlands 3, and like your bullets go where you're aimed at instead of halfway across the screen.
And as you mentioned, it's
so much better.
A huge part of that is the aim assist. It has really heavy. And Outriders, I don't think has very heavy aim assist at all.
It doesn't.
I was struggling.
So actually, the last time I played it, like I said, like probably less than a month ago, I actually streamed it just because I was like, I didn't feel like installing it. It was like 60 or 80 gigs or something. I was just like, I kind of just want to do like one thing real quick. So I just like streamed it. And I don't know if it was the aim assist isn't great or the latency of the, the streaming made it worse. It's probably both, but like, ooh, that was kind of rough at times. Like that was real rough. It was just like, oh god, I'm dying because I literally can't shoot them. It's okay. Fucking flame wave, bitches. And then murder them all with the flame wave and then heal. Like
the fucking bailout button.
Well, I gotta say, because the great thing about, I guess this has just become our Looty Shooty episode, apparently. So one of the things that game did that I really liked is that like high risk, high reward, like you have to kill to heal, right? Like you have extremely low health. And so you're kind of squishy, but if you are constantly killing, one of them is if you're constantly doing damage, but most of them are if you're constantly killing with the thing that's specific to that class. Which obviously go fire class and then fucking shoot them with your fire wave and then murder them. Then you heal. And I really like that like high risk, high reward type gameplay of it.
Everybody learned from Doom.
So true, very true. Glory kills. So we were texting and this didn't come. Yeah. So we were texting and we realized though, when we were talking last week, and so the background of this, of why I bought Borderlands 3 is, I didn't even intro to the show. This is Jetpack Swords, or a casual game podcast. We talk about games and shit. Last week we talked about
we're at the 20-minute mark.
Last week we talked about games that we would make if we could make games, and I was like, if rub my magic genie lamp, I'd make this beautiful looter shooter. And then Packy was like, go play Tiny Tina's. And I was like, yeah, but Borderlands is on sale for $9 instead of 30. So I got Borderlands 3 instead. Anyway, so all that background. So then we were texting after, and we didn't talk about this on the pod. The most obvious one, the game that I actually want is Anthem. That is actually the exact thing I want, and I described without the repeatable end game and good itemization with sets and stuff like that, right? Because it's got abilities, it's got excellent mechanics in general, right? Like the movement mechanics are great, the gunplay is perfectly fine. It's not Destiny, but it's perfectly fine. It's
serviceable.
It's better than Borderlands 1 and 2, which isn't hard because those are the worst fucking gunplay I've ever experienced in my entire life. And you have the melee. You have at least one melee class, if not multiple, right?
Like the fucking. Sure. That's what I always played.
That is the game that I want to exist, and it hurts me that they never gave it the second chance. Like they did the whole you have 6 months, go prove it, and then they canned it, which is so disappointing. Because if we talk about Looty Shooties and things that I like about certain ones, right? So I mentioned I liked the high risk, high reward of Outriders. One of the things I liked so much about Anthem that the Division, I think, is the closest to this, is the ease of changing classes, right? So in Destiny, in Borderlands, Remnant doesn't have classes at all, so actually A+ there. But Outriders, right? If you want to play a new class, oh, interesting. Okay, well, I remember starting the game in Remnant. I was like, oh, look, there's classes, and it's like, but P.S. these aren't classes. This just changes your starting gear. And I was like, okay, cool, sure, all right. Anyway, so in all those games, very, very standard traditional stuff. Same as WoW, same as RPGs. If you want to play a new class, go fuck yourself, roll a new character. Go waste another 20 minutes of your life playing through everything you've played through again, just so you can get back to the end game, the part that you actually care about, doing the stuff you want. And MMORPGs at this point, like WoW and ESO, they have this is a problem. People don't want to do this, and now they solve the problem with money, which is not a good way to solve the problem. And Anthem, and I said another one, and I can't remember what the other one I said already because I'm retarded. The Division. Thank you, James. You're the fucking best. I love you. You can change classes at any point in time, right? Because your character in Anthem is just a human dude, right? You're a pilot. I don't remember what the fuck they call them. I'm assuming it's a
I don't
pilot.
remember either.
Pilot.
And then you have the javelins, right? And as your single character class or single character, you have access to all 4 javelins. And so you can switch whichever javelin you want to use at any point in time. And like, yeah, the gear is different. So like you still have to like manage different pieces of gear for the different javelins. But like, it's still so much better than like having to reroll an entire class and like play through the entire fucking game again, just to get to the part you care about. And so like, I love when games do that, when they make that easy to switch classes. And I can't, how is it the exact same way in the Division, James? You can
So in
literally
the
switch.
Division, there are no classes. Every character can have up to 2 skills, and the skills are the technology things that like you get from your super secret government organization. So like one can be a healing drone, and then that drone itself can also do like 4 other things. You just have to spec into it. So you can make the drone like a gun drone or a bomb drone. And so you can change those skills basically at any point as long as they're not on cooldown or you're like actively in combat. And there's, I want to say 8 to 10 skills in the second game, and they all have 2 to 4 variations. So like there's a lot of flexibility. And then the other thing the Division does that gives you a little bit more of a class system is the legendary gear sets have very specific roles. When you have like the full set on. So like one I vaguely remember off the top of my head was they're all about like obviously like status effects and like cooldowns for like different stacks of abilities and stuff. But like one was when you have all 5 pieces of the set on for the gear, you could like any grenades that the enemies throw at you, you diffuse automatically when they're near you, and you can throw them back, which is not a built-in system in the game. Like you have to have that gear set on to do that. And then when you throw them back, you do more damage with them. So like it's, you know, definitely seems like a kind of class where like it wants you to be like up front and taking those grenades in the first place so you can throw them back. There's one for like sniping where you do like 6 billion% extra damage if you haven't moved in like 30 seconds and stuff like that.
There's obviously a healer one that like increases the effect of the fucking, you know.
And
thing.
yeah,
Like,
it's very flexible because like I said, you can change, you have to unlock the skills, but they're pretty easy to unlock. You just unlock them by playing the game and like doing some of the side activities. And then once you have everything unlocked, you can swap between them pretty much whenever. When I played, I would usually try to keep my characters that I rolled to like a specific 2 to 3 skills. That way, like they did have a set thing that I was going for. But like obviously, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want to do. So I really like the Division. If nobody was aware, love the Division 1 too.
The Division is fantastic. And speaking of the Division, tomorrow on Pot Smoke Day is the Division Day as well. So those developers and those product people giving that presentation tomorrow are going to be high as fuck when they're talking about the Division.
Are they talking about Heartland?
They are talking about all
Division
3
Day.
things.
Okay, good. I've been waiting for some information on the new, probably not going to be good, more free to play one that they're releasing.
Yeah, so the Division Day package is, I don't know why they fucking, it's just, they're, like I said, they're talking about the 3 things, which for those who don't know, the 3 things are the Division 2 and its continuing life, right? It's been maintained for 5 years at this point, at least, I think. So
around for a minute.
So that's number 1 is continuing to talk about what's next for the Division 2. Number 2 is Heartland, like James said, a free. Heartland is the free to play one, and then, excuse me, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper, and it's making me burpy.
It's not.
We've talked about this, and it was made by people, and you like the people, but I can't remember who the people were.
I'll look it up because I'm curious. I don't think it's massive. It's Red Storm. That's right. Red Storm used to be really good. I don't know if they still are, but they used to be.
And then the third one is their mobile game called Resurgence. So they're going to talk about all 3 of those tomorrow.
Cool. No.
Which is cool because I also quite like the Division. I've probably played as much. Actually, I probably played more of the Division between 1 and 2. Definitely between 1 and 2.
Ubisoft's best current property other than Assassin's Creed.
I would, in my mind, personally even put it above Assassin's Creed, but that's just me personally. I like my Looty Shooties. You know, I like to go pew 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 pew. So that'll be interesting to see what they have to say tomorrow. I love that both the Division and Anthem let you do that. They let you switch how you want to play the game without having to waste 20 hours of your life doing the exact same fucking thing you already did. So big fan of that. Like really big fan of that. I mean, that was
Fantasy 14 does that too.
Oh, it does?
It's the only
See, that's
MMO I
smart.
know that does that. Because like that is I think it makes so much sense, and it's so weird that games like Looty Shooties, games that are really built around different builds, wouldn't let you play all the different classes because that kind of plays into that whole replayability. Um, MMOs, it kind of makes sense to me because they're just trying to get you to put as much time in as possible that they would
Yeah.
force you to reroll. So I like that's the one
Well,
that
and-
really impresses me that they don't make you do that.
I'll say, just to give an alternate take, different genre but similar makes me think of like Diablo, where in my opinion, like I don't always
It's about to
mind.
go there.
I don't
Yeah.
always mind the early stages of like starting a new character. It's when it's a slog that it's a pain. But in something like Diablo, where your characters share the gold, especially, so like when you roll a new character, you can immediately buy better gear, which means you can immediately crank the difficulty up, which means you can immediately start getting more experience and gold from that character, which then
And-
speeds up the whole process. I've been replaying Diablo 3 on both my computer and the Xbox in preparation for Diablo 4, and like that doesn't bother me at all. Like
I think
being
you
able to-
left
being
out
able to
the
do it
bigger
quicker.
thing, though.
which is
You left out the biggest thing, in my opinion, which is adventure mode.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they
Adventure mode's really nice.
they literally your second character in Diablo, you can literally level by playing the end game, which that alone
It is
solves
really
the
nice.
entire problem, right?
It is
Like,
really nice too.
and so like it's just like the Diablo's great. Diablo 3 is fantastic. I'm so
I love
excited for
Diablo
Diablo
3.
4.
You all played
But
the main
yeah, no,
story in
you're
Diablo when
totally-
you replayed it? Like, I think I played the Diablo 3 story once, maybe twice, and it was just pure adventure mode for me.
I have done the Diablo 3 story, I think, 3 times. And I'm doing another one right now on the Xbox because I like using the controller way more than I like using the mouse.
It's so much better.
I can't
It's
like
so
I
much
don't-
better.
There's whoever likes the mouse system more is literally it's so much worse.
Well, And I don't think anybody. Well, okay, no, people definitely do, right?
No,
but like,
people definitely
I
do.
The
remember.
most competitive players would, yeah.
Well,
Ugh.
That's
so
why I'll
I
always be
remember
faster.
back at there was a BlizzCon. I don't know how long ago, and someone asked, "Is like, can we get controller support on PC?" Because like I think a lot of people realize that like it is for Diablo, it is much better. Like in my opinion,
It's
at least
so
much better. And they were just like, "No," and it's just like what? Like how hard could this be for you? Like
I'm buying Diablo 4 on my Xbox specifically so I can play it, or my PlayStation, one of the two, so I can have the nice controller support. Like it's
yeah, I
ridiculous.
wonder if 4 is going to have it for PC or not. I
don't
feel
know.
like they
it makes
should.
sense, but I don't know.
It would have
Yeah,
made sense
everybody's
for
gonna
3 to
play
have
it.
it too, but
I mean, sure, especially because 3 was like the most console
They must have already
like,
announced that.
centered on. Like it still is like so obviously made to be like a little simpler for consoles, but
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
Diablo 3.
Yes, it will be included.
Cool.
Controller support will
Good.
be included
Well,
for PC.
I'm
I'm
still
gonna
gonna get it on
assume
console.
Diablo 3 was just like a giant mess of spaghetti code because like Diablo
believe
3 is
that.
so old. A lot of people probably forgot it was on 2 generations of consoles ago. It was on the 360 and the PS3. Like that's
Yeah.
how fucking
Mhm.
old this thing is at this point. And so like I'm assuming it was just a giant mess of spaghetti code, and like
I'm
it was
sure.
not easy to bring the controller support from console over to the PC version. Is my
It's
guess.
crazy seeing the hype for Diablo 4. And actually, it's not with how well the beta went. Now I understand why everybody's so hyped for it. But it's been so long, I think people forget how Diablo 3 launched.
Oh no,
It's
it
not
launched
really-
bad. I remember.
It's not been brought up that much. Most people have just got, well, at least I don't see it much in the Diablo 4 news. Like people
I
are
see
very
it
much like
on
pre-ordering and
the
shit.
games subreddit a lot of negativity about the 4th game. A lot of diehard Diablo 2 and 3 fans who are like, it's
God,
never
they
gonna
can go
be good.
fuck themselves.
right?
Die-hard Diablo 2 fans can
Diablo
go
2
fuck
kinda
themselves so
sucks.
hard.
I say that on record. Diablo 2 kind of sucks.
I
It
did
doesn't
not like
kind
it.
of suck. It fucking
The
sucks.
remastered version
It's
is
a
so
bad
bad.
game.
It's just
It's
not
not
fun.
fun
Like,
to play.
Jacob
I'm
and
sure
I
it's,
have
it's
had
another one that I'm sure is fun in the
some
end game.
fun
I
with
could
it,
not get through it.
But Diablo 3 is so much better.
It is.
So one,
I loved 4.
I
Diablo
hated
2
Diablo
I
3 on
played.
launch. I was so mad. I bought it because we bought it as like a collective on launch, and
Yeah.
I was in part. This shows where I was coming from, though. I did not understand the game. We'd been playing WoW, and I was into the PvP concept. That was like what
Oh.
sold me on it, and that of course famously
Yeah, no.
never materialized. So I was so pissed off, and then Greg bought it for me way later, and I still was like, no, I hate that game. And I
on
literally would
console,
only
right?
play-
On Xbox?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, you got it for me, so I would play with you, and I was like, fine. Like you're getting me the game, I will play with you, and I loved it. We've played.
It's because
so
it's a
fucking
Y'all play
combination
the-
of Reaper of Souls and
Listen,
controller.
Reaper Souls
it's
is
so
so
good.
better on the
Reaper Souls
controller.
is
It's so
so
much
good.
better.
Love Reaper Souls.
Now feels so fucking cool. I already watched the some of the cutscenes recently.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm
I mean, that's just
almost
Blizzard.
done with another playthrough.
That's just
and
Blizzard
it's
being Blizzard.
so good.
Like,
Dude, I saw a preview of the Diablo 4 ones. Instead of like, they only have the cinematics between whatchamacallit's acts and then like just dialogue, right? But now there seems to be a lot more mini.
Oh no,
cutscenes.
Packy, they're like I played an hour and a half of the beta, and it's way more cinematic, like in a good way.
I heard.
I'm like, I was on the fence for Diablo 4 before, just because like it had been so long since I played 3, and I've been like playing 3 again. But like I'm getting it probably like launch day, and I loved the hour and a half I played of the beta, and is other than getting kicked out when I tried to play the second time because so many people were trying to play it at the same time. But that hour and a half I played at 1 a.m. was so good.
Curious? Hey, there's cross-platform. Okay. I was curious if the decision to buy it on PC or Xbox matters.
I know there is for the Diablo 2 remaster, so that doesn't surprise me that there is.
I just Googled it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me that there is for 4. I was surprised when I found out, because I just downloaded Diablo 2 on my Xbox also, and it had my Necromancer there from the PC that I was playing with Jacob. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even nice. Try to do anything. I do not have my Diablo 3 characters, but I've got my Diablo 2 one.
It's nice that it's cross progression. I would have assumed it would have been cross.
I didn't have
to play. I don't know if it's cross progression.
Well, it sounds like Diablo 2 Remastered was, so maybe Diablo 4 will be.
Yeah, I don't know about 4, but 2 was.
But yeah, really cool. Diablo 2 sucks. It's plays like shit. Sorry, I just want to. I'm sure I've ragged on this before. Hey, here's the thing. I loved Diablo 2 when I was a kid.
It's our most controversial episode.
I had a druid.
I was going to say.
I loved the druid, and I'd summon meteors and shit, and it'd be awesome. And Steve, my brother, who's been a guest on the thing, he deleted my character one day because we did not get along when we were younger. And then my oldest brother, he like downloaded some like fucking, Diablo 2 save file hack program to like get me my character back, basically, as close as I could. And like, I loved that game when I was a kid. Right, but
you
like,
just gotta play Zoo Tycoon like me
and
Jacob were. Jacob was playing with, I think he was playing the druids who had all these animal companions, and I was playing the necromancer, so I had all the skeletons. And we weren't even actually playing the game; we were just letting the skeletons and animals play the game. It was great, so fun.
I love Necro.
That was always, I was gonna say, I think that was Doug's favorite. Always was Zoomancer, yeah. But like, I got Diablo 2 Remastered. I was really excited. I was like, I love this as a kid.
It's a good remaster.
So excited to play this. And then I play it, and I'm just like, hey, that game is way too fucking hard. Like, I don't know why that game is so fucking hard. Like, and it's not like an optional hard that you opt into with hell levels like early on.
3. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just fucking hard. Like, it's just really difficult. And like, I don't know, I guess get good, but like,
just play Necromancer.
Fuck you, I'm gonna go play Diablo 3 because it's better. And then also, it quite frankly, it's just clunky. Like, it's an old game and it's clunky and it just does not feel very good to play. At least on controller, actually. Maybe Diablo 2 is the reverse of Diablo 3. Maybe Diablo 2 is worse on controller and it's better on PC.
It's fine on PC. I've not tried it on controller yet. We'll see.
But yeah, no, like I remember like even just like auto attacking, right? Like the way you like you're walking and then you hit A to auto attack and your character just like just stops. Like literally like your character like runs into a brick wall, like face first, stops to swing its fucking weapon, and like I don't know, it just felt really bad. Which I think is just old, right? And
yeah, it's just old.
Yeah, consoles didn't exist when Diablo 2 came out.
And so, yeah, Diablo 3 is great. Very excited for Diablo 4. Mainly because, we talked about this a little before, is, I'm excited for all of the things that Diablo Immortal did right to be put into Diablo 4.
It's a flagship title.
And hopefully none of the things that Diablo Immortal did wrong.
I'll be a little... People will be mad about the monetization somehow.
I'm sure, yeah. I got an email from fucking Blizzard. It's like, Diablo Immortal's new season 12, and I'm like, how the fuck have there been 12 seasons?
Yeah, I was surprised by that when I saw that.
Slow down. Like, that was honest to God, like that was one of, if not the biggest things that stopped me from playing it, right? Because like I played the first 2, and I think I completed the season pass in both of them, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. And then 3 comes around, and I'm just like, dude, this is too fast. Like, I can't. Like, I want to slow down and, like, it's the standard, like they're putting the pressure on you to keep playing and keep spending money with
Yeah.
the seasons, which is bullshit. But like a month-long season is too short. Like it's too short. Don't do that in any game. Do
And
not do
there's
a month-long
Destiny
season.
with like 6-month seasons.
I
haven't
Well, then there's
touched
Halo
Destiny
with
since-
year-long seasons. Yeah, so
I
hopefully
forgot
Halo
about-
never has a year-long season.
God.
Which Halo Infinite's in
Fucking
such a good
Microsoft.
place right now. I played some last week. Dude, it's phenomenal. Like, that game is just great.
Is it?
Like, the new weapon and yeah, it's so much
I haven't
fun.
played it. I don't even have it installed right now.
Like, the new weapon's great. The new
What's the new
equipment's
weapon?
great.
What'd they add?
It's called the Bandit Rifle. It's kind of like a DMR, but it doesn't zoom in as much. It's very good.
Is it
It's-
full
it's
auto
very
or
fun.
semi?
Semi.
Because they have
Semi-automatic.
the VK36 or whatever that's like kind of like
Commando?
a DMR but full auto.
I love the Commando too, though. They're
Yeah.
very nice. Like they each serve their little role in the sandbox, right? And so like I very much like them, and I think they all complement each other very well. But then also obviously they've been like adding in a bunch of community maps into the playlist, and so just like it's just been very fresh, right? Like every time I hop in, which is probably only like once every other week, and maybe like twice every other week. It just feels very fresh, right? Like whether it's a map, like a community made map, or like the Social Slayer playlist is probably my favorite because it's like it's like Ninja Slayer, or not even that. It's my favorite one is Ninja Attrition, which so attrition is the 4v4 limited number of lives. Once your team runs out of lives, you can start reviving them, and if it lasts too long, the circle starts to shrink. Right? Like,
Okay.
so attrition, great game mode as itself, right? And then ninja attrition is that with only fucking swords and grapple hooks, and it's so much fun. Like it's just like I said, it's just really fresh at the moment. And so it's been very fun to go back and play and like play something new. It's fun to go play something that's not fucking super sweaty, try hard. Right? Like, just go play some goofy games.
It's weird 'cause games are so traditionally goofy. I appreciate goofy so much now because it feels rarer. If like when it just truly is goofy and just purely for fun and not about progression systems or story or any of that stuff.
It's like probably one of the reasons Fortnite is still so successful beyond all of the other reasons that it's wildly successful, but it's so low key. Or can be so low key.
That's why I always start out playing
I
Fortnite again. Like I don't look at any of the quests or stuff like that. I'm just fucking around, and it's great. It's a blast.
I need to get back. I haven't played this season. I need to try it out again.
Which, speaking of tryhardy though, the kind of opposite of Halo was, I actually played some Warzone with Max and Matt the other day, which is fun. I hadn't actually played games with them in like well over a month, I think, at this point. So it was fun to like get in there and play some Warzone, some DMZ and stuff, but also it's just kind of like, can I just go play Halo instead? Right? Because like, I don't know, it was just so, it was higher energy and effort than I wanted it to be to play those, right?
That's why I like DMZ. It's a little more laid back.
It felt, when we played DMZ, it felt more stressful. I don't know why.
What?
Max really cares. It doesn't like Max is really into it, right?
That's probably that.
That can contribute.
James, I don't know if you've seen this, and I don't remember if I've even mentioned this, but like, did you know Call of Duty has raids, quote unquote?
Yes, they added the first one not too long ago. Me and Jacob are going to do it.
It has two now. It has two now.
I think it's cool. Yeah. Me and Jacob were supposed to do it, and then we never did. But I thought I think it's a cool idea.
I think it's a cool idea too. I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't do it because they were like, it took like 3 hours, and I was like, oof. and it seemed like we kind of talked about this in the past. I think last week of like when I was talking about my ideal looter shooter. I want raids, right?
Yeah.
But I want them more to be murder things and get to a boss and then wipe on the boss raid like the Division or WoW, rather than platformy puzzle raids like Destiny. And from what I could tell, the Call of Duty raid was more of a platformy puzzle raid.
I think it's
like,
if you can have both, that's good. Like Destiny for a while had both. They had the raid layers, which were the much smaller ones, which I never got a chance to do. Those were like super early in Destiny 2, like in the first year or two. But they've not had anything like that since. They've all been the big community-driven raids that are much more popular in that game, which I think those are super cool.
Oh, they
but
are.
they are
They're super
definitely-
cool. That's just
they
not
are
what
a
I'm looking.
slog, depending on the people you have.
Yeah, very true.
To be fair, I've not done a
All
raid
right.
since the first game, so
You were so late for raid.
I'm only 10 minutes late for raid.
You're so late. That's so late. By raid, in other raid, it's crazy because I was looking at the time. I started smiling like after 5 minutes. I'm like, you're gonna be so fucking late. And like,
And no, it doesn't matter. They always start late.
I do remember that they seem
Yeah.
more chill. I just remember our other raid groups
Yeah.
were like, if you're 5 minutes late, people are.
Plus, it's in the post ahead of the curve before the next patch phase. Nothing matters at this point in the game, right? Like it's the way to do it. But all right, we will call it there then. It's good. It's good length, like 40 minutes. I like it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
Had a good time, boys.
thanks for listening. Yeah, it was good to catch up. And James, I hope you feel
Yeah, I hope you feel better.
continue to feel better.
I'm sure I will feel better on Friday when I have to go to work. So
You have to go back to work.
that's how it
Yeah,
always goes.
Yeah, that sucks. Well,
But thank you both.
all right. Catch you all later. Bye.